The big one is here, guys. The India series is upon us. And I am excited about it because it's two heavyweights taking on each other. It's going to be a very entertaining clash. I'm going to be previewing this. I don't know why I have a review on the screen. I was supposed to change it, but I'm going to be previewing this particular match and the series, but mainly the first test, and discuss with you guys different things about the first test. What do I think is going to happen? But I'm going to first and foremost go through the press conferences with you, but I'm going to read it out to you because I'm not going to go through the audio. It's going to take up way too much time, and I still want to get a guest on the show to discuss this match with you guys. So before we get started with everything, I would like you guys to please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click that notification bell as well for all future videos. Smash the like button, comment and share. And don't forget to comment in the comment section after we've ended the stream as well. It's a big series, guys, a big match. It starts 6 a.m. South African Standard Time. I'm going to be up tomorrow morning covering this. It's going to be exciting and entertaining. I hope you guys will enjoy it too. So let's get straight into today's video. To Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we're going to discuss everything that happens in the match, or what we predict is going to happen in the match between South Africa and India. Yeah, it's going to be a clash, guys, of the Titans here. Two very, very good teams going up against each other. It's going to be a very entertaining match. I'm predicting it's going to be very close, but we'll see what happens with regards to the match, etc. And I think the way we start with this one is probably let's go through the comments of Coach Shukri and of Temba Bavuma and see what they've had to say, because they will give us a lot of insight into what's going to take place in this test match, or what are they thinking heading into this test match. So if you go to cricketfanaticsmag.com, you will see this. You will see our articles about this. So let's get straight into it and discuss it. I want to go through all of it because it's important that we get an understanding of what both the coach and the captain think. And then I'm going to bring on a guest a little later on the show. That's why I started a little bit earlier, so that I can get through all of this press conference stuff. And then we can get straight into, obviously, the guest and see what the guest has to say about this particular match and this clash. So let's start first and foremost with Temba Bavuma, because I think that it's important that we get the captain's view. This press conference was yesterday, and there's a couple of things that he had to say. So when he was asked about the team selection and who would take the gloves for South Africa, Bavuma confirmed that the wicket-keeping role has been decided. So that's big news. And his answer was Ryan Rickleton will be keeping wickets in terms of starting 11. We haven't finalized that, but we'll finalize that on the morning of the game. So obviously they're going to take a look at the conditions in the morning and take a look at the pitch again and then decide on their starting 11. That's the approach with everything. But that's big news that Ryan Rickleton will be keeping. So that's a possibility that Calvareno could get dropped. I don't necessarily see him being selected as a batter alone. If he plays, he keeps. So that's how I see it. So if Ryan Rickleton's taking the gloves, then that probably means that, that obviously means that Calvareno is dropped in. Then reflecting on what it feels like to be a world champion, Bavuma said the achievement has begun to settle in. He said, I think it has sunk in. I think wherever we go into a series, there's a lot more of an expectation for us as a team to, I guess, uphold the world championship status. It doesn't really change anything from our point of view. But I think from a confidence point of view, it's just a case of us kind of walking proudly with that badge, being known as the champions, the current champions at this point. We have a lovely opportunity now coming up against India in their own conditions. There's not many bigger challenges than that. So it's a great opportunity for us to kind of stamp ourselves with that label. And with regards to the first test approaching, Bavuma acknowledges the difficulty of balancing seam and spin options because there's talk about Kolkata not being as spinner crazy as we might think. I think the seam is going to come into account here. Yeah, look, I mean, we haven't finalized the team, but it's all those different, I guess, considerations. The ball does seem to swing here in Kolkata, probably a little bit more than what we are accustomed to playing in India. There's obviously the consideration of the extra spinner, but obviously in subcontinent as well, you want to make sure that you have the resources from a spin point of view. I don't think too much changes from a batting point of view. You want to select your best six batters, however way we go. It's probably more from a volume point of view. And look, we'll take the luxury of giving ourselves the extra day. And today, have a look at the wicket to make sure that we are clear on whatever starting level we put out for the game, or starting 11 we put out for the game. He also spoke about the limited test schedule and a lack of traditional home fixtures. He said, look, it's always been quite sad for us, the players, but I think the fans as well. The fans will have wanted an opportunity to properly celebrate the team. But be as it may, we are in the position now. This test series becomes our festive season for us, so we'll try to make the most of it. I think obviously a lot of support and appreciation has been given to us for being victors. I think probably us being seen outside of the big three, I think it is more of a victory than anything else. But yeah, it's sad that we are in this position, but I think quite positive that when we play in 14 tests, a little bit more than the last test cycle, we'll still crying for a little bit more tests, and I am too as a fan. We'd love to play against teams like in in Europe and India and England and Australia, where we'll have this opportunity in test cycle, maybe not just two tests, maybe three tests. That would be fun, but yeah, we'll take what we have at this point. He went on to then say that about the A game, because he got some opportunity to play in the A game and he got, some experience over there to see what it was like, and the wickets, and to get himself back in form after injury. And he said, yeah, always nice to get a look in their bowlers. India, on the other side, had a very good bowling attack. I think most of the guys are playing on international cricket. I think it's only harsher than the left arm spinner. Um, so yeah, it's always good to have a look in. They also get to have a look in at you as well, so it kind of works in their advantage. But I think for me the biggest thing was having come off a long day of test cricket, getting back on the field, proving my fitness to myself and everyone around, spending some time at the crease. I think that was important. um the thing is, we needed Temba to get out there and get some runs under his belt, obviously after injury layoff again. We want him to stay fit, obviously, as long as possible. Okay, so then he spoke about the conditions in the subcontinent. So yeah, I thought it was a good exercise. Spent a lot of time on my feet in the field, but yeah, it was a good exercise. He's speaking about obviously having some time in the SAA. And then a little bit about the World Test Championship again. I don't want to get into those comments, but he did speak a little bit about Kuldeep Yadav. He said, yeah, I think for myself, it was the first time me actually facing him. So that was quite nice. I'd rather face him in an A game than here in Kolkata. Let's see if he plays. I think it takes a little bit of time to get used to him. Not a massive turn on the ball, but it can obviously deceive you off the wicket with the ball turning in and turning away. I think it's just really giving yourself that extra bit of time to understand the little nuances that he has. But I mean, in my little bit that I got to face him last week, you can see why. India have a lot of faith in him. Definitely a guy who's a wicket taker. So no, so we'll obviously have to keep our words about him, but I think like our wits about him. But I think, like all their bowlers, they won't have the ability to take wickets, we'll have to take care of them and give them the respect that they deserve. And then he spoke about his growth over the last few years, etc. And there's a little link for the video, so guys can go there and check that out. And then I just want to go quickly through some of there's a couple of quotes from Coach Shukri's press conference before we get our guest on the show to go in more depth and discuss a little bit more in depth on both sides and how we are feeling about this. Coach Shukri is obviously going to be very buoyant and very confident and cocky as he always is. So we're going to have to just have a look. What did I do now? Here we go. This one. Don't load. Oh, that's the same one. So we're gonna have a look at some of his comments, not all of it. If you guys want to see all of it, you can see on the website. You get a preview of what our website is like. It's not this slow when you are actually viewing it on your mobile and on a web page. It's because I'm streaming it through StreamYard that it's so slow. So I don't think that this is how slow our website is. But let's get this. As you can see by the headline already, we are licking our lips for the contest. It's already it's already that's Coach Shukri at his best. But let's just have a look. First and foremost, let's just get his thoughts on Pakistan. He said, look, India is a tough challenge anywhere in the world. And when you come to an iconic venue like Eden Gardens, it just makes it even tougher. I don't think you can compare the quality of the sides we played against to India. This will be our biggest challenge. Certainly in my 20th match. I don't think there's a bigger challenge. Yes, we had the final against Australia that we won, which was massive. I compare this series and this match to that final. That's how big it is for us. So that's a massive statement from Coach Shukri about the magnitude of this match against India. It's away. It's in their backyard. We know how good India is on their own home turf and anywhere in the world, but particularly at their home ground. I think there's going to be some tough challenges out there and battles out there, and I think it's going to be an entertaining clash. Let's see what he said about having a strong spin attack quickly. Yes, I think it gives us a lot of confidence previously, and this is not saying that we didn't have a good spinners in the past, but we certainly think we've got a better pack of spinners now in Keshav, Simon, and Senator Mutasamy. So I think it gives us a lot of confidence that if the conditions are what the gentleman in the previous question thinks it's going to be, we feel that we've got the armory to obviously challenge India in that respect as well. So the previous question was about swing bowling and seam bowling at Eden Gardens in particular. So he spoke about that and he discussed that. So yeah, let's have a we're going to have a little bit more of a discussion with our guest to see what he says about it as well. I'm going to bring him on very, very soon. Then he spoke about the experience of his batsmen in India, particularly their IPL exposure. He said, yes, definitely it helps. Previously, you come to India and not having experienced India before, you can be in awe. You can be taken back by the occasion. But our guys are comfortable in the environment. They're comfortable with opposition because of their involvement in the IPL. I certainly believe that it does make it slightly easier for us to adapt to conditions. It's not foreign to a lot of these guys, and certainly the opposition aren't foreign. So I'm expecting an evenly fought contest. We're still going to be out of the dirty hole, but we're quite confident that we can make history of our own year and even go on to win or beat in a win against India. That is incorrect. I need to change that quote there. Fast bowling will also be key, he said absolutely. Everybody talks about spin in India, but on both sides you've got world-class fast bowlers. And again, if history is to be believed, there's always something for the fast bowlers at Eden Gardens. I expect the fast bowlers on both sides to have an impact in the game, especially in the first couple of days, and for spin to come in slightly later. There's so many battles within the test match. Bumrah, Rabada, Jansen, Siraj. Then the spinning and batting matchups. It's certainly a mouth-watering contest. If you're a fan of cricket, I know that you're going to be doing the next couple of days. There are so many exciting battles to look forward to, and you've got to earn the right to get to the spin by taking care of the fast bowlers properly. So that's all I'm going to read to you guys. Let me get our guest on the show. It's been a while, and I'm excited. Let me just remove this first because I don't. This is going to slow everything down. Um, yeah, I'm excited to speak, team, and it's been a while, and we welcome Aditya. Let's get him on the show.
How's it, brother?
How is it, my guy, my brother?
It's been a while, eh?
So long, yes, so.
Yeah, it's been a while, but always good to chat cricket, and it's always exciting when India and South Africa are coming up against each other. This time in India, so I do think that we have a cracker of a series ahead of us. It's unfortunate that it's only a two-test series,
Mm,
but I guess given the crowd calendar, you take what you get.
yeah. Can we first let's talk about Eden Gardens? I'm just trying to find this jack because it's echoing in my ears here. I just want to find the other aux cable, um, the aux input over here on this MacBook. Just talk to me about Eden Gardens quickly and what you think about
Yeah,
them.
so honestly, the Eden Gardens wicket at the moment is a bit of a mystery, um, for a number of reasons. The last Test match that took place in Eden Gardens was, I think, 2019, the India versus Bangladesh day-night Test match, um, which was obviously played with a pink ball. So I think since then we haven't really had Test cricket being played at the Eden Gardens, and I think in between the pitch was also relayed. So I don't think that either team has a massive advantage going into this test match. From the domestic cricket that has been played there, you know, the pace bowlers were not very happy with what they got. But having said that, the curator says that it's going to be a wicket with decent amount of carry on the first couple of days, and then we might see the pitch turn. But very honestly, I think you look at the Indian think tank and the amount of time that they've spent trying to understand the pitch. It's been sort of unusual because typically you rely on some amount of data, some amount of history, and in this case, we also have a coach who's played an extraordinary amount of cricket in Kolkata. So it is. So I think it's a bit of a mystery for everyone. But I guess that's the fun of Test cricket, isn't it? That you have a home team as well, who's coming in not 100% sure of what to expect.
Yeah, and that obviously is going to mean that with regards to the pace bowlers, like Coach Shukri said, I mean, there's some great spin fast bowlers on display in both teams here. I mean, when you take in a KG Rabada, Marco Jansen, Corbin Bosch has been a revelation for South Africa actually in all formats.
Hmm.
Jansen swings the ball, KG swings the ball, and then you could possibly, if they play Vian Mulder, then you got that extra pace bowling option. Who I think he would also be quite good on these particular wickets. And then, can you talk to me a little bit about India's bowlers? We know Jasprit Bumrah, of course, and Siraj, but just talk
Hmm.
about with regards to the pace bowlers and why they are going to be so important in this match. Or do you feel that they will be? They have more to say, particularly on day 1 and 2 of this Test match.
Um, the thing is, I think India's biggest selection conundrum is going to be whether they should play. They're definitely going to play Bumrah. They're definitely going to play Siraj, and um, on the spin front, Kuldeep Yadav has to play, and Ravindra Jadeja has to play, right? So the question then is for that fifth bowler. Is that fifth bowler going to be Washington Sundar, or is it going to be Nitish Kumar Reddy? Washington Sundar obviously being the spinning all rounder, and um, Nitish Kumar Reddy being uh, the seam all rounder. That's that's the question for for the Indian team. Otherwise, I think, 10 spots in that team pretty much pick themselves. It's this one, it's that one spot. Can you imagine being in a scenario in which you've got 10 members of your team basically picking themselves, but you have that one selection that is based entirely on the pitch, and you don't know what that's going to be going in. And I feel like South Africa has a similar conundrum with at least like 9 or 10 players, because I think 9 or 10 players, definitely kind of pick themselves, but you have to determine whether or not you want to go with the extra seamer or the extra spinner. So I honestly I don't know what the answer to that question is. Um, it's a really difficult one.
Yeah, and on top of it, I think as well, when it comes to the starting 11, normally, Coach Shukri is very confident, and Temba Bavuma, they've been given their starting 11 the day before. This time around, they've only given us one um, definite position, and that is Ryan Rickleton is going to be keeping in this particular match. So that tells me that probably Calverena will be dropped in for this particular match. I don't see Calverena maybe getting selected as a batter only in this match. If he plays, he keeps normally, because there would be no reason for you to change your keeper. He's done nothing wrong as a keeper. That wouldn't be the reason why he would be dropped in the first place. I think it would rather be because of his batting at the moment. So that gives us an indication, kind of, because then we'll know Ryan. We know that Ryan usually opens up the batting with uh,
Aiden
with
Markram.
Aiden. So would they change that now around because Ryan's going to keep then? That means that someone else will probably be pushed into the opening position in this particular match. That gives us a little bit of a conundrum as well. I don't know what they're going to be doing with regards to that. Um, um, but maybe they do select Carl as a batter only, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with regards to that.
Y- it's interesting because, on the one hand, you wonder you also wonder what type of batter you want, right? On on this wicket, because I feel like, do you think Dewalt plays, by the way?
Sorry,
Do you think Dewalt plays?
I think so. If Carl's not playing,
Because again, I think Dewald is that he's that X factor, right? Who has he not only has experience of playing in Indian conditions, he has the experience of dominating in Indian conditions, although in a different format. But the truth is, in a test match, oftentimes that's the sort of player that can change the outcome of a game. And we saw that with, I think, a 54 that he scored in Pakistan on on a wicket that everyone else was struggling on, and this man is going at a run a ball on a treacherous wicket. So, I feel like that's the sort of X factor that you need to watch out for. Um, but again, to me, I feel like the challenge with South Africa, just like India, is going to be whether you play with that extra spinner or not. Because the thing is, if this won't be a rank turner. I don't expect a rank turner from India. So if that is the case, then playing three spinners can be a bit of a risk, you know.
yeah,
And it's kind of so, and I think this is a first for both teams, that a South African team that is traveling to the subcontinent is coming with three quality spinners, where two of them are very handy batters. And you have an Indian team which has three out and out pace bowlers, and you have one batting all rounder who will be slotted in at number 8 if he is selected for the game. So I don't know, $1 million question, man.
yeah.
Million
I
rand
mean,
question.
it's all about balance with regards to these teams. It's all about balance at the end of the day, and what they're going to be doing, especially when you're not 100% sure what the conditions are going to be like
Mhm.
for this particular game. I just want to double check something, because sometimes the comment section gets makes me second guess sometimes what I think and stuff like that. Um, but I just want to see if anybody else has written about it yet, because I'm pretty sure that Temba said that Ryan will be taking the wicket, will be wicket keeping in this particular match. Let me just listen to the audio again. It's the first question of the audio file. So,
Options to choose as far as playing 11 is concerned, have you finalized on who is going to keep wickets? Who's going to keep wicket? Ryan Rickleton.
okay, so I'm not going crazy. So for me, I'm thinking about it when I say that Ryan can't possibly open in a test match and then keep wicket at the same time. That just doesn't make sense to me. And when I look at that lineup, then that means that maybe, and when I look at the squad, of course, of that we have, that's going to throw a massive spanner in the works with regards to the lineup,
Yeah.
um, and who they're going to be selecting, because they're going to have to put confidence or give confidence to another person to then open. Then I don't know about changing that. I mean, Coach Shukri was always speaking about how important it is to keep people, um, keep the squad intact, like, and not try to change too much, especially with your batters. And Temba also spoke about it as well. He said that obviously, you want to keep the batters, but when you look at the squad over here, Temba, Corbin, Deerwald, Tony, that's a possibility to open the batting then um with Aiden. Then if that's going to happen, if Carl Verena gets dropped, that could possibly happen. You could have Aiden and Tony open the batting, and then at three have obviously your Stubbs, and then your four Temba Bavuma, five Deva Breva, six Ryan Rickleton. That's a possibility of happening. I mean, this match is where Ramza could also throw his name in the hat and get in a possible start as well, but not as an opener, I don't feel. And I don't see anybody else opening with Aiden Markram. Uh, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Maybe Timber was talking nonsense in the press, but I highly doubt it. Uh, so, but let's have a. They're saying there in the comment section I must listen to the whole sentence. Um,
You can't really keep wicket in terms of the starting 11. We have finalized that or finalized.
Wait, what did he say?
Plenty of options to choose as far as playing 11 is concerned. Have you finalized on who is going to keep wickets? Who's going to keep wicket? Ryan Rickleton. Unfortunately, can't.
No, he was joking. So I messed up everything. Okay.
Because I was also thinking that that's a pretty smart journalist to ask a captain, given the squad, that who's going to be keeping wicket.
Yeah. I mean, he was joking, and I'm an idiot. I should have heard it. So yeah, that's why I need to. I was this morning. I was busy doing other things while I was doing this article and while I was transcribing and stuff. So I probably just messed that one up. But that changes everything. So that means Ryan and Aiden will open the batting, and three will be will probably be Tristan, and then four will be Temba. Five then is the big question: is it going to be Deerwald? Carl will be at six, and then probably seven, and then where does Vian Mulder fit in? That's the big question. Does Deerwald start? All of the things are going to come into the account now.
Because Tony DeRozzi did pretty well in Pakistan, isn't it?
Tony Lazosi, yeah, I don't know about Tony. Yeah, he's been up and down in Test cricket. I mean, but in Pakistan he was good, especially against spin. So he could be keeping his place, in the side. So it could be Tristan Stubbs that loses out. But I think that Tristan Stubbs also showed some signs, so it's a very difficult lineup because who's going to come? Because Temba comes back into the side. Who loses their place? That's the big question.
Because I feel like you want as many X factor players as possible. So afford to you can't afford to drop Tristan Stubbs or Dawood because they're your really aggressive options. Um, and you have Tony who's high on confidence, right? Because of Pakistan. And so you want to allow him that long run. And you have Temba obviously who's captain, and he's also confident because he scored a half century in that game against India A, where they chased down 400 plus. So that's also. So I think this augurs really well. It's a great selection headache um, for the South African think tank. Not so much for us at the moment because there's too much suspense and we can't figure out what the 11 is going to be.
And that's always the biggest debate that everybody has. It's always about selection. That's like the number one thing that fans debate heading into it. And the Tony DeZorzi one is a big one because you got 100 in Pakistan.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a very. There was a lot of people writing him off leading up to this, leading up to Pakistan, saying that he shouldn't play, etc.
yeah,
So for him to have done what he has done and then to be left out would be weird. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Coach Shukri will do with the team and how the conditions will play into that. Have you had a look at the weather conditions at all to see what is happening there
See,
in India?
typically in the east, the sun sets fairly early, so that's why it's a 9:30 a.m. start. And typically, unfortunately, this time of the year, you end up having bad light stopping play. That's that is fairly common, but it's expected to be a sunny day, and sure, yeah, it's expected to be a sunny day, but yeah, it just remains to be seen. Like I think there are two things that are going to be kind of challenging. One is obviously the fact that you don't know when bad light might stop play, and the second is obviously um, the pollution. The AQI is not great at the moment. It's 238, and typically, teams struggle with that sort of thing. So
And
we'll
with
have to figure
regard
out.
and Obed in the morning, will it be
Sorry.
clear?
Yeah, yeah, it's clear all day pretty much. It's like the sun's going to be out. That's not going to be a problem.
Okay, so swing bowling, not so much thing.
No, no, it will be it. So, it is a good pitch for the. It will be a good pitch for seamers, uh, because there will be moisture in the pitch. There's a water body not too far from the stadium, and
Okay,
yeah. So,
but I mean,
mm,
yes, maybe I understand off the pitch. Like obviously there'll be movement probably off the pitch, etc. With regards to maybe cutters, etc., coming off the seam. But I'm talking about in the air with regards to the ball moving and swinging. Normally overhead conditions will determine that, but also humidity probably. But so you think that swing is still a
yeah, yeah,
chance in the morning sessions, etc.,
off the pitch, yes.
of the pitch?
Yeah, that's why again, it's very hard to tell what what a team should do if they win the toss. You know, um, should you do you want to capitalize on a wicket that has the potential to seam, or do you want to bat first and score big in that first innings?
Mhm. Because I mean the pitch will deteriorate with
Mm,
the sun out, etc. If all 5 days are clear,
yeah,
but so the pitch is going to bake and it's going to get drier and it's going to crack up a bit, and then spin will come into play. Obviously, day 3, day 4, possibly even maybe the end of day two, perhaps. So it makes it tricky because batters struggle against good swing bowlers and bowlers that can move the ball off the pitch, but they also struggle against good spinners on the spinning wicket. So you're right. When it comes to winning the toss, what does South Africa do? What does India do? Because they kind of, to me, they are very even side with regards to that, with what they have available to them. Okay, yes, maybe you guys have the edge with regards to spinners that are so used to bowling in those conditions. You might have the edge there, but I think, for example, Bumrah versus KG, it's a toss up. Siraj, I think, is slightly edges Jansen's control, I think, can do some work with more consistency. Um, but yeah, Kuldeep is an unknown element to him. So we know that in the ODI series from a few years ago, we keep on bringing it up whenever we chat. When you guys beat us 6-1, I think it was. I mean, we didn't know 32 wickets between Kuldeep Yadav and
And
Chahal. I
music.
mean, we were completely destroyed by not being understanding. And then the coach still said they're not used to seeing these bowlers bowl and the way the ball's coming out of their hands. And they were trying to mimic the style in the nets, but they couldn't get it right. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one with regards to that. But from the toss perspective, Aditya, what's your thoughts on that? And what should South Africa do? And what should India do you think?
See, it's tricky. I don't know what. It depends on how you want to win the test match, right? And the thing is, both teams, certainly in the bowling part, and look, I think it's a given that both teams have to bat really well in order to win. And to me, I feel like it's going to be the batting that determines who wins this test match. But then a test match is also won when you take 20 wickets.
Mm.
So how you do you take the spin route to do it, or do you take the seam route to do it? Because see, Bumrah we know is Bumrah with the red ball on a wicket that provides a little bit of assistance can be lethal, right? But the
Reading that.
trump card, the trump card in terms of the trump card in terms of form and confidence is actually Siraj,
Mm.
because he had a spectacular series in England and on fairly lifeless wickets in against the West Indies. He was excellent, and that guy he really bowls his heart out. So
I'm a big fan.
Siraj is Siraj is also a threat, and he's a kind of guy who will come at you hour after hour. He is relentless, right? So that is um, that's a threat. So I feel like Siraj is definitely going to play. Bumrah is definitely going to play, right? Kuldeep, in my view, is a better bowler now than he's at the peak of his powers right now. Kuldeep. So how India manages that is going to be crucial. Um, and Jadeja is also going to play. Jadeja in Indian conditions is unbelievable. And even with the bat, he's really sort of come into his own, because I think he scored some 500 odd runs in England recently. So his batting is also on another level right now. Whether I don't know, I feel like if I was Shubman Gill today and I won the toss in challenging conditions, I would probably bat first.
It's an interesting take because I'm looking at it now, and I'm looking at the frailties of our batters. We've seen how our top order struggles against good swing bowlers. When the ball seams off the pitch and moves around, we struggle. I think we have a better chance playing against the spinners, in my opinion. I think we got a lot more batters in our batting lineup now these days that can play against spin than we did before, or comfortable against spin. And that has a lot, obviously, to do with probably the IPL experience, etc. but naturally also shot selection as well that players like to play. I mean, Tristan's very good in the sweep shot. I mean, Devos is naturally good against spin. Aiden's spin game has improved a hell of a lot since the IPL. And Temba Bavuma has always been good against spin as well. We showed Tony Rizorzi play really well in Pakistan against some good spinners. So Ryan Rickleton, okay, he didn't show his true potential, but I think he can. He's also quite capable against spin as well. So South Africa can survive against. So do you take that risk? Is my question. If South Africa win the toss, for example, do they take that risk and they say, you know what, we survived the first hour here against the seamers here. If we can do that and buckle down and survive that, we kind of give ourselves a little bit of an advantage in this test match, and I think maybe India similarly, they can survive against KG, survive against Janssen, in that opening spells, in that opening hour, they kind of put themselves in the driving seat and get probably the first victory of the test match, because I see a test match as little victories throughout the days, and that's how you win it. So that first victory would probably be in the favor of the team that can survive the longest against the seam bowlers.
Yes, but South Africa shouldn't make the mistake that they made in 2019, which is they placed so much emphasis on spin
Mm.
that they almost took the fast bowling for granted. Because you go back to that series in 2019, fast bowlers actually ended up having more of an impact. I don't remember the stats now, but it's one of those things where you feel like you can negotiate Ashwin and Jadeja, and you survive Ashwin and Jadeja, only to find out that Mohammad Shami is coming after you. You know, so that's
What
that's
a
something that
bowling.
South Africa should not forget. That sure you have to contend with Jadeja and Kuldeep, and if Washington is selected, Washington as well. Because remember, Washington is tall and he's kind of quick and he'll get bounce, right? So you can't underestimate Washington and and Jadeja. And then you have Kuldeep, who's going to be a bit of a turner of the ball. But in surviving these three, don't forget that you also have to deal with Bumrah and Siraj. So um, that's definitely not a mistake. Every bowler needs to be respected, and that goes for India as well. You know, don't take for granted that you end up playing KG and Marco a lot in the IPL, because South Africa now has a potent spin attack, so they cannot be underestimated. And I'm pretty sure that the Indian think tank will have watched that series in Pakistan and communicated the stats to our batters.
And that's exactly why so much emphasis was put on the seam in the press conferences. I mean, both Coach Shukri and Temba Bavuma made it clear that they are both also aware of that. And I'm glad that both teams are, because if both teams are, yes, it's one thing talking about it, but if both teams are aware of it, at least we know that they are going into this match knowing that they're not coming with blinders on.
True.
So uh, that's the thing. I think there's a unknown factor, yes, with Kuldeep. Jadeja is someone maybe that some of the players in this team are a little bit more familiar with, the senior guys particularly. But it doesn't really matter. The players on display are that good that it doesn't matter how many times like look at Kesh. It doesn't matter how many times people see what he can do, or how many times they played against him. He still manages to find ways to take wickets. And I think similarly with Jadeja, and the senior players in the India side. But I'm looking forward to the match, Aditya. It's going to be an interesting series, and I'm hoping that you will come on a lot more shows to come discuss some of the days with me when you are free.
Sure.
Just drop me a message and let me know, and you can come join us over there as well. But just your final thoughts, Said, of the match.
Look, I think it's going to be a great contest, and just the fact that we're talking so much about selection and who may play or who may miss out. is indicative of how strong the two teams are. This is possibly this is possibly the strongest South African team to have made it to well, I don't say strongest, I want to say the most balanced South African team to have made it to the subcontinent since 2010. And I think they have a very good chance of causing an upset. But obviously, you're up against an Indian team um, that is still striving to make that resurgence after an embarrassing 3-0 defeat to New Zealand last year. So, I think you can be sure that you're going to see a very driven, passionate, and fiercely competitive Indian team. But I think it's going to be a cracker of a contest, and may the best team win.
And Temba said that he spoke to Kane. So
We didn't reveal much. We didn't reveal much.
yeah.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
guys, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. Thanks a lot, Aditya, for coming in on the show. Sorry for the mess up about the Kyle Verreynne Rickleton thing that I went over my head, but yeah, Kyle will be keeping wicket. So that's at least we got one selection out of the 11 for the match. But thanks to everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Aditya, thanks a lot for tuning in. Don't forget, everybody, to do the things for me. Help me by subscribing to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos as well. Very important that you guys do so. Also, comment in the comment section below. And after we've ended the stream, please go and comment in the comment section. You guys have been really good on all of our videos by commenting there. It really helps the channel out if you guys do so. It helps us grow and spread. Thanks to everybody for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys again very soon with another show, with a review show after tomorrow's game. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the evening, everybody. Peace out.